want you to look at this, and this to me is a scary trend. You know, we talked about the names yesterday. If you remember me talking about the most popular name across the world right now, it even one of the top 5 in America. You don't believe me? Look at this map. Now it looks colorful, doesn't it? But we're going to talk about this. This is a map based on showing the second biggest religion that is growing here in America. Now, we're going to talk about what color is what, but to be honest with you, exactly what we've been talking about is happening in America. We'll discuss it. That leads me to the next story of how we're hoping to not see American cities fall into this same chaos of this style of religion being led to us. The ones that stand with Iran. I mean, literally, New York City could elect someone who is extreme. And we're talking about the same city that got attacked back in 2001. May elect someone who believes like they do. Wow. Unbelievable. The war on Christianity, the war on our families is right in front of you in several different facets. The question is, what are you going to do? You know, they make that slogan about being a weak man or a strong man. You can go over it. It's a cliche statement. But the bottom line is we've made a weak generation and a weak man, which makes for harder times, which makes for real men and real families to stand up. Today we're going to talk about just that, being someone that's not going to go along with what's going on right now in America. So we have to prepare for it. Let's dive into these stories about what's happening in New York. What's happening with the biggest religion now growing in America should scare you. And then we're going to talk about a lot of other issues that deal with our Christian faith. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up if you like the content. If you don't like the content, that's fine. Tell us why you don't like the content, but I promise you, if you just pay attention, gain a little wisdom, you'll start seeing things like I'm seeing them. Not because I'm wise, it's just because I'm looking for truth. And when you find truth, you start seeing things for what they really are. For instance, let's talk about this first story. Prime example. This comes from Wall Street Apes. It says, Customs and Border Protection agencies do confirm that Biden's administration did not vet illegals from Iran, even though they were supposed to have special vetting processes that were input by other parts of our government. That when people come over from Iran, we were going to do special vetting. Customs and Border Protection agencies confirm that Biden administration did not vet these illegals from Iran. They let them pass. Nearly half the Iranian nationals who crossed the border illegally during the Biden administration were released into the United States by the Border Patrol. They arrested 1,504 Iranian nationals at the southern border. 729 of them were released into the U.S. Iranians are considered special interest aliens due to national security concerns through the DHS, even when the Democrats were in charge. It just blows my mind that one single Democrat involved in these decisions has not been arrested. This is where I come into the fact of saying this. All right, let's rub our hands together on this one. We allowed for people to come in. So whatever you say about Trump and about him, taking out these targets, these under the Biden administration, even the Biden administration, even the Barack Obama administration, these were considered special interests because of the dangerous and the situation and where they're coming from. And it said 1,504 were arrested, not counting the ones they let go. 729 were let go into the United States without proper vetting. Iran media comes out and issues a second ominous warning to the West, declaring a night is coming where there will be none like you've seen before. Numerous Iranians have begun sharing images of missiles and other weapons online. Now here's the thing. Do you believe they're actually going to send a missile over here? I don't. I really don't. I believe that's preposterous. But do I believe that it could be a problem here at home already? I want to show you this map once more. You know what that map is? American Homestead actually shared this. It says, the second biggest religion in each U.S. state. The pink is Judaism. The green is Islam. And there's a few other religions that are small, like Buddhism and Hinduism and Baha'i. But look at this. You see all that green? See all that green? every one of those green, other than the top liberal states, Minnesota, Michigan, those kind of states. But other than that, every one of those states are conservative-leaning states. Look at this again. Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina, Virginia, Iowa, Illinois, which is a liberal state, Indiana, Michigan, which is a Muslim state, which has the highest population of Muslims, Wisconsin, Minnesota, which is heavily Somali, even North Dakota, Idaho, Utah, and Maine. Why is that important? What did I say yesterday about being one of the top 5 names in America? People are having children. Who is it? Muhammad. We don't believe that this plan is going right into fruition. And people like, this is where I get very upset. And I told you before, I was a huge Thomas Massey fan, and still a huge Thomas Massey fan. I believe he brings a lot of wisdom to the conversation. But like his stance against this situation, I know he calls himself America First, you don't want to bomb anybody, but it's like, Kentucky's on this list, Massey. Again, I'm a supporter of yours. But until you realize the fact that this is a danger, the one that was dangerous at the border, they said, was the Iranians, and we allowed them in. Do you remember the guy literally coming from Azerbaijan, from the Middle East, saying, "You will know my name"? It's unbelievable. I want you to listen to what this Florida imam said. Florida now. Breaking. It says the Florida imam is going viral for claiming that they are, quoted they, he was saying they are trying to turn Florida into an Islamic state as they convert churches into mosques. Florida imam states, "We have already converted 3 churches into mosques and we are looking for more. One day Florida will become Muslim. May Allah give victory to the Islam in this country." Do you see their plan? Their plan is not to live peacefully ever after here. This is not a Disney story. They're literally wanting to take over America. Why are we so scared to say that? And so when the Dave Smiths, the Candace Owens, and the Hodge twins, and people like the Thomas Masseys come out, it's like, look, I'm not a neocon. I don't like Mike Pompeo. I don't like Lindsey Graham or Mike Pence. But I do think that we should listen to President Trump and maybe some guidance he has there. Because we are allowing people in our country that's literally causing damage to our country. Literally, the second most renowned religion in America growing, Islam. One of the top 5 baby names in America is Muhammad. You think, the white Christian man's going to name their child Muhammad? No. There's a purpose, and we're allowing it to happen. This is Florida. What did I show you on the map? 90% of those states were all conservative-leaning states. So you don't think this is happening? You don't think this is happening? Come on, people. Now let's keep on going. Let's talk about New York. Before we talk about New York, a word from today's sponsor. Before we jump into the rest of today's stories, I have something very important to tell you that's really personal to me. My dad just turned 65, and my mom is right behind him. And like many of you, they don't really understand Medicare. They're flooded with phone calls, flooded with pamphlets, so much confusing advice because everybody wants to make money off of them, not really knowing what's the best option for them. And so I started doing some digging, and guess what? I found something that was very shocking to me. Listen to this. The Department of Justice recently filed a massive fraud complaint against the biggest Medicare brokers in the country. Why? Because they allegedly were steering seniors, just like my parents, into certain plans that were lining their pockets and not actually the best plan for the person that was purchasing them. So I went looking for the alternative, and I found Chapter. They're the only advisors that searches all plans across the country and finds the one that actually fits you, which plan fits you for your doctors, your prescriptions, and your personal needs. They're an advocate for you, not just for insurance companies. Their help is totally free. Did you hear that? F-R-E-E, free. And this is what actually sold me on getting my parents involved and telling them about Chapter. Their help is free. The average person can save $1,100 by using Chapter. My parents are working with Chapter as we speak, and I wouldn't bring them to you unless I trusted them too. If you're turning 65 or you're already on Medicare, dial this number on the screen. Give Chapter a call today. It's easy, it's free, F-R-E-E, and it could save you thousands. Do not miss out on this opportunity to check with Chapter today. Dial the number, tell them the Mac sent you. Also, there's a link in the description, askchapter.org/Mac. Check out the link. Start saving some money today, because you know what? Money gets tight when we get older. If we can save some money, especially hundreds of dollars, why not take the opportunity, especially when it's free? Check with Chapter today. I kid you not, about today's sponsor. If you're older, you need to reach out to Chapter. Do not miss out this opportunity to reach out to Chapter, because They're the utmost importance, even down to, I recommended them to my family, my parents. If it can save you money and you know you're on a tight budget, save some money. Now, let's go back to the stories. Now, New York. Let's go to New York. Now, we've talked about this guy before, but in New York, the Zohran Mamdani, or whatever his name is running for mayor. Open Muslim. This is from Laura Loomer. I thought this was really good. It says, we need our Republican leaders to speak out of the threats of Muslim immigrants that are in the U.S., not only in the U.S., but running for office. This is happening. Look at the U.K. If you don't believe this is dangerous, look at the U.K. Look at London. Look at, Nottingham, Birmingham, Manchester, all those places. Look at them. Zohran is a jihadist third world Muslim who hasn't even been in the U.S. for over 10 years. It's been under a decade. Now he's fixing to possibly run the biggest city in the United States. Not only that, this city shows of utmost importance to what happened in 2001, correct? It's amazing how we forget history when we don't learn history. By the way, they're not teaching history and doing standardized testing on history anymore in school systems that you're paying for. Why? Because if they can make you forget history, then they can make you believe anything. When we learn from history, then we start gaining wisdom and guidance. But I digress. That's not what this video is about. Let's talk about our guy here in the mayorship run, Zohran. This guy says that it's a dark new chapter when we try to fight the Muslim world. So he's, of course, opposing what Trump did, but not only that, he's calling for peace. You think he really wants peace? That religion is not about peace. You can, twinkle toe around it all you want, but the bottom line is, they have a golden agenda. What did the Florida Imam say? Their goal is to take over. It's already happening. It's happening in the West already with the UK. Now it's going to happen here. We've allowed for the infiltration with our borders. And just like they said, you will know our name. Iran is openly threatening us. And we're just like, oh, it's no big deal. And so when you hear people like Thomas Massey and Candace Owens and the Hodge twins and all them say, we don't want war. Nobody's saying we're going to war. We took out a target. But at the same time, it's funny because Thomas Massey and them are going to stand with these kind of people, the AOCs. AOC is now promoting this guy to win over Cuomo. Now, I don't like Cuomo. I think he's a leftist liberal too. But the bottom line is when you see people stand behind this, the AOC and all them come behind this Zohran guy, he's going to end up being a Muslim immigrant who has not lived here. I mean, he has not lived here, not even a decade here, and he's going to be over the biggest city in America. Boy, you're talking about a lost cause. You talk about how America has fallen, that is representing America has fallen. I want you to listen to this because this leads to an attack that just happened in a Christian church. This is a statement that Laura Loomer made too, and I thought was really good. And it says, if you're a Christian or a Jew and you live in the city or a large Muslim population, you need to be armed. You need to make sure that you understand that assimilation in the Muslim culture will not happen. They will not embrace you. And even though they act like they're a peaceful religion, it's not. You must protect yourself. Jihadists will try to harm anyone who they think is an infidel or apostate. Remember, everyone who is not believing in their religion is a apostate. I mean, they're an apostate or infidel. So under their leadership, no matter what they tell you, they can legally take you over, and they believe that's their goal and initiative. We have 2 million, listen, this is the scary part. To date, we have 2 million Iranian proxies living in our country. 2 million Iranian proxies, meaning people they put here, people they paid here, people they brought from the Middle East, live in America. And you tell me there's not sleeper cells activated here? You tell me that there's not a danger here in America? You tell me that you're okay and safe in the cities? You're telling me you're not prepping? You're telling me that you think everything is fine and we're going to live peacefully, happily ever after in a Disney story? You got to quit believing that. Here's why. And we're going to kind of wrap it up with this. Tom Homan warns, Tom Homan, again, over immigration, says that there is sleeper cells in Iran. And they will carry out terror attacks here in America as soon as they're activated. He said American citizens better realize where we're actually at. Now the sad thing is people don't believe it. Okay, don't believe it. You believe he's crying wolf because you think he wants war because he's Lindsey Graham? You think Trump is actually Lindsey Graham? You think Trump is actually going to want a 30-year war? I mean, come on, people. I mean, it's amazing that we start believing all these pundits online telling us that Trump is now, bought off and now he works for Mike Pompeo. And my favorite is this. This is my favorite. Netanyahu is over America. That's my favorite one. I'm like, okay, let's think about this for a second. Do you honestly believe that? Do you honestly believe that? Do you believe the richest billionaire in the world, Elon, you believe the most powerful man, Trump, is listening to someone else? That's preposterous. That is absolutely preposterous. Now, do I believe he made a wise move? Yes. But if he puts us in war, I won't be for that. Do I believe he's going to put us in war? No, I don't. I want you to listen to this story, because this is why it's so important. Breaking. Islamists attack church in Syria. Multiple casualties just happened. It says, until we realize that we're not facing just a peaceful religion, until we realize this is a complete and utter assault on America, until we realize what their end goal is, we will never be at peace. And we will never have prosperity. And we will never see the happily ever after in America, because we're allowing someone to infiltrate our country. There was an active incident yesterday in a church in Michigan. Now, it's funny how they have not come out and talked about who it was. Hadn't talked about any of it. I imagine there's a purpose for that. But you know what? You know who actually saved those people at that church and why it wasn't bigger? A guy with a truck and a guy with a self-defense tool. If you don't start realizing the danger that you live in, this is not the Wild West. I didn't say that. But I am saying, don't act like you live in a fairy tale story. Because guess what? As much as we wanted a great, strong America built on strong men, strong values, strong families, we've lost that because we've allowed government to step in to make weak men, weak families, and now we're making for hard times. Hard times we have to live through. It's not going to all of a sudden get better. Just like I told you with Trump, even though Trump is doing great jobs, it's not going to all of a sudden just get better. We're going to have to go through these tough times. And I think we're facing one of those now. You think that decision was probably easy on Trump to bomb that area? No, because he knew his base was probably against it. His true MAGA base. But he knew it had to happen for the greater good. Now, back in America, when everybody's talking about ICE and how they're deporting all these people back to Mexico, you're missing the whole point. Yes, we need to get the people out that should be back, that's not part of this American way and didn't come in here legally. But part of that is the 2 million proxies that Iran has here. So yeah, we need to get the 10 million out that came across our border illegally from maybe Mexico and other Latin countries. But the fear is the other 2 million that they're also trying to get out. But no, you don't give them credit for that, do you? Tom Homan said, look, we have seen sleeper cells and busted sleeper cells, and there's still more out there. And there is a guarantee, as of today, 2 million people that Iran basically has bought and paid for to put here. You believe they're here to, work your convenience stores and to grow your gardens, to cut your grass? No, they're not here for that at all. Don't kid yourself. If you believe that, you need to study up on your history and understand this religion. What happened in Syria? That could easily happen here if we're not careful. The Michigan situation could have got a whole lot worse if there was not people there who were willing to stand up. We have an imam in Michigan and in Florida. The last 2 days I've told you about 2 imams that are literally saying the quiet parts out loud that their purpose is to solely take over America. We literally have the biggest city in America, a Muslim immigrant who has not even been here more than 10 years is fixing to be over that city. Boy, have we lost our way. What we're seeing, strong men made strong America. People got laxed, became weak, depending on government. Now we have a weak America, and now we have hard times. And now it's going to go back to that same rotation where it's going to take strong men, strong families to represent America. And that takes a good Christian-based moral obligation to be more. And that's what I'm asking you and I to be. To be just someone who cares, someone who understands, and someone who seeks wisdom. Because we are literally living in the hard times. Let's go back to that map one more time. Where are those people living? Where are those people migrating to? What's the second big religion that will most likely become the first biggest religion, especially in the next 10 years, they said? This was a map in 2020. Those green areas are where Muslims are growing the most. The South, the Midwest, the most populated areas where conservatism is. They start taking over those areas, The liberators will be pretty easy, won't it? Come on, guys. Pay attention to the stories. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Quit listening to the pundits and to legacy media and start focusing on truth. Remember, they're not teaching history anymore, but you better learn on your own and you better understand where we're coming from and where we need to go. Because if you want to live in hard times still, keep being weak men, keep being weak families, keep living like the world. But if you want something better for you and your family, it's going to take you being vigilant, you being wise, and you paying attention. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on today's video. God bless.